Back Homestead. What are we doing today? Today I am taking my tomatoes out of the freezer and I'm going to peel them. Now I'm just going to show you how easy this is. I'm going to do this one-handed. Look how awesome. And am I sweating? Am I sweating while I'm doing this? No. But if you cannot wait, see, look at that peel just come right off in your hand. See, there's another bit. I should have cored them, but part of the reason I did this is because I'm sick, or I was sick. Well, Crohn's disease, alright, it's chronic. But, you know, I'm feeling better now. So I took some tomatoes out of the freezer, and see, look at that, and I'm not sweating. Thank you, Roots and Refuge, and whoever left that comment. So today, we're going to make some tomato basil soup here. We're going to make it in my crock pot, and if you, as you see, I've got some Mr. Stripies. Actually, some of them already peeled. I got a couple Romas in there. I think there's an early girl in there. Just every kind of tomato I have, and if I don't have enough by the time I peel what I took out of the freezer, I've got some. Don't mind my mess, I'm getting my herbs together. I'm gonna blanch these. These are some cherry tomatoes, and I think this is one of my Camparis. It was a volunteer, and it's my favorite store-bought tomato, if you can have such a thing. And I didn't know what it was, and it's turned out to be a Campari. Tastes like a Campari, looks like a Campari. They're known as a cocktail tomato, and they're outrageously expensive, and I think they come out of Honduras or Mexico or somewhere. And but I grew it here, so evidently all the seeds didn't die in that fruit. So, and then I've got cherry tomatoes in there, and depending on how much I come out with the frozen ones, I'll blanch those, and I'll show you how I'll blanch those if I need them. Hi. Okay, we're back. This is how I get the core out before I pop it in the crock pot. And yes, these are still frozen, so you can see that it's kind of hard when I smash on it. So I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to go around the top to get those cracks off. And I mean, yeah, it gets a little hard to slice toward the middle because it is still frozen. But it's not that bad. So let's see if I can do it on this side so you can see. So I'll go right up next to where the core ends, and I'll just cut it. This is a weird angle for me, so there we go. And then you got your nice, if I can get in the shot, nice slice of tomato. See, whoops. Nice slice of tomato, drop in crock pot. See, and then I just continue going around the core like so. I mean, I don't know, maybe this is easier than coring them first. I don't know. And then I'll just chop the bottom off, you know, about where the core would usually end if I see any core. So you can see the beginning of the core right there. And then there is the chunk of tomato from the bottom. So then I'll drop all that in the crock pot. Now, the other thing I do is I take all this lovely juice some of it's probably water, but I'm going to dump it in. I'm not going to add any water to this at all. And I got some water starting to boil right here so I can blanch the other ones because I'm not sure if I'm going to need them. So I'm going to continue to peel what's left of our frozen tomatoes, which we have 2 left, and then I'll assess whether or not we need to blanch those other ones. I may blanch that brandy wine anyway because I got another stripey ripening on the windowsill. So I'm going to finish peeling those and I'll get right back to you. Hi, I'm back. We finished peeling the tomatoes that were frozen, or I did, and I chopped some onion, and I chopped 4 cloves of garlic. I chopped 1 onion, 4 cloves of garlic, and that's peeled and chopped onion and garlic. 4 cloves of garlic, 1 small onion. I'm going to put 1 stalk of celery in it Do you peel your celery? Just a question I have. My husband had never heard of it. My mom always peeled celery. I still do because it is a dietary requirement for me to eat celery because of my short gut and my Crohn's disease. Those little strings get stuck in me and cause obstructions. So now we're gonna chop the celery and then put it all in my saute pan, which, sorry guys, I'm working on doing a video on curing my grandmother's cast iron that I've not put my hands on yet, her cast iron. So I'm cooking in a Teflon pan. I know, but part of homesteading is you use what you got and you try to achieve and do the best you can. And right now this is the best I can, is my old Teflon saute pan. So let's chop some celery. I'm just gonna chop it just, you know, like you do with your knife. Just chop it, you know, little, because, you know, this is tomato soup, and we're gonna put it in the blender, my little ninja blender, once it's done. And then all this will be whizzed up, obviously. I don't think you could see any of that. Now I'm gonna put my pan on the stove because I almost burnt my butter there. Put my onions in. It's got a tablespoon of olive oil and a tablespoon of butter. All in the pan. I almost burnt the butter preheating my pan and my oil. It was not pretty, so I had to take it off. So then, you know, as you can see, my butter is pretty darn brown. These are brown butter onions because I almost burned it. But anyway, it's on like low, so this is gonna take a minute. And I've still got simmering water over here because while these saute, I'm going to do the blanching of a couple of tomatoes. I don't think I need all those, but just for the sake of showing you guys blanching, I'm gonna do that. So there is the onion, garlic, brown butter, and olive oil, and celery. Now, the next thing I'm going to add to this little thing is the celery greens. Do you use your celery greens? I do. I love the taste of celery, and I find the greens give it even more flavor. Celery is one of my favorite flavors, and I do pretty much think it's because I'm not supposed to eat it. It's like my tomatoes, I eat them out of the skins. You know, I quarter them and then eat it out of the skin because that skin too will cause me to have an obstruction. So then that is sauteing, and I'm going to chop up the remainder of this little stalk of celery. And celery greens, do you use your celery greens? I do. I think they're great. It's part of the plant. Sometimes I'll give them to the rabbits. If my lovage was big enough, I would actually be using my lovage. See, celery greens. Celery greens. Not that I should be eating that raw. Raw food is, once again, a no-no for me. So I just chop those up roughly. And then I just put them right in my pan, just like I did the celery. So good. I love celery. If my lovage was big enough, like I was saying, I would so be using some lovage, because that stuff packs a celery punch. Watch that video. I'll put it here, the day I tasted lovage. Actually, I'll put it there. That day. The day that I tasted lovage, and if I had enough lovage, I would so be using it, because that is such a powerful celery flavor. Now I'm going to salt and pepper this, and then we'll move on to our herbs. Pink Himalayan salt. I got this at Walmart in a bag. It's organic. It's actually from the Himalayas. You know, there's a lot of imitations. I'm just going to give it a sprinkle because I will be adding a little bit more salt when I put everything in the crock pot. And then pepper is not my friend, people, not my friend. So then we just put a little sprinkle of pepper in there, and then let them get translucent. Okay, next part we're going to do, I'm going to keep the camera focused down here because we're going to add our herbs, or make our herb mixture. This is sweet basil, says so right there. This is the sweet basil I grew. This is Italian sweet basil. And you're going to need a tablespoon of your basil. I didn't chop this when I put it in, I just left it whole. And so I'm going to chop it right now. And I'm going to use half sweet basil that we grew and half holy basil or tulsi. Tulsi is also another name for holy basil. It has a lot of really good medicinal properties. It has antibacterial properties. It has I'm not sure about the antifungal thing, but I know it has antibacterial, slight antibiotic properties, anti-inflammatory properties, just overall health boost. It is a wonderful herb, and that's what's in my big jar, or my pint jar over here. One of the things I like to do when I use the tiny mortar and pestle is I like to put a little bit of salt in it because it helps to release the granules, help to release the aromatics and the oils that are in the herb. So I'm just going to get my tablespoon. Oh goodness, that one's damp. I got a half a tablespoon right here. Here we go, half a tablespoon. This is my holy basil or tulsi. I got this at a local health food store. I don't know if you can get it in regular big box stores. I've never saw it, but I got it at a local health food store. Okay, so there is our basil and a little bit of salt. So now I'm going to take my little mortar and pestle and I'm just going to grind these herbs to help release all those oils and all those benefits, and grinding it against that salt just helps that happen. Okay. I need a bigger mortar and pestle, I know, but me and my mom always like, well, I still do, like tiny cute things, the tiny little things. Still do. So yeah, I used to get her a lot of time in kitchenware like that. Alright, I'm calling these done. I mean, because look, they're browning more than translucent. But that's okay, you know. So then I'm just going to take this mixture, the onion, the garlic, the celery, and I'm going to put it into my crock pot, which you can't see right now. So there it is in the crock pot. The tomatoes are starting to release their juices and cook down. And that's the beginning of homemade, homegrown, from scratch tomato soup. I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret. It's the first time I've ever made homemade soup. Well, not homemade soup, but homemade tomato soup. I have made scratch soups my whole life. That's like one of my favorite things, but it blows my mind that tomatoes, being a love affair with me, one thing I will never give up eating due to my disease. I taken this journey with me of making my own tomato soup, and I researched a lot of recipes, and when I look at recipes, I'll like combine them as to say, like, I like this in this recipe and I like that in that recipe, but not in this and this recipe. Well, the recipe that I'm working from, the 3 recipes I'm working from, oh, my kettle's boiled. Let's get these tomatoes done. So here is my boiling water. And my tomatoes. So what I'm going to do with my tomato is I'm going to score the bottom. For that I need a serrated knife. Whoa, see, you keep falling back because I got you sitting in a chair. Oh well, let me pull you forward again. Whoa! Yeah, I gotta invest in a different tripod because this is difficult. Okay, anyway, so what I'm gonna do before I drop my tomato in the boiling water is I'm just gonna score the bottom. It makes it easier to peel. And I'm just gonna score it with a little X, like that, if you can see that. And then once this comes to a rolling boil, I'm gonna put the tomatoes. So I'm gonna score the bottom of a couple of tomatoes just because I want to use a lot of different tomatoes. Cherries, I just score slightly on the bottom. So husky cherry tomato, and then just score it slightly once on the bottom. Come on, boil already. And then I do the same here. And let's see, we'll do one more Campari. Because tomatoes are going to cook down a lot. When I made, the first time I made spaghetti sauce, which was just recently, I must add, I used all the tomatoes I had, cherry tomatoes. Every tomato in my tomatoes had just started coming in. And I used my big stock pot. I cooked it for like 2 hours on the stove. I'm talking old school, man. And I got that much sauce in the bottom of my stock pot. It was enough to eat spaghetti once. But, you know, you take what you get. Alright, now I have no choice but to get my cold water in the bowl now. A bowl of ice water is over there. I couldn't move it over here, but it'll probably melt fast. So anyway, there's a bowl of ice water, and now we're going to take our first giant tomato, because this is a big one. I'm going to do it by itself because it's going to take a little bit longer. So I just drop it into the boiling water, and then I set my timer for like 10 seconds, literally 10 seconds. And then after the 10 seconds, that is done boiling, and you put it into the ice water bath and let it cool. Yeah, I think I'm going to let that go just a little bit longer because I don't feel good about that. 10 seconds went by really fast, folks. Oh no, 5 seconds. Oops. Don't want the microwave on. We'll time it for 5 more seconds. I know that's sad, but it's what I do. Alright, wow, that was so fast. Alright, so then we take our tomato and we dunk it in the ice water like that. And I'm going to take my the rest of my tiny tomatoes. Well, all the tiny tomatoes I'm going to use in this case. And I'm going to blanch them for, oh, let's say 9 seconds. You know I'll end up going 10. So yeah, there they are. They're blanching away. There that one is in the cold water bath. And as you look, see how the peel is just shrinking away? See? And that's how it works. It's pretty awesome. Let me make that thing hush. So now I take these tomatoes out. Whoa. I need to get my little scoop, but I don't want to have to hunt it. Let me put them all immediately in a hot water. Well, come on, bath. There you go. Alright, I know that's not a lot of tomatoes, but at least you now know how to remove your skins 2 different ways. Hey, hey, hey. All about versatility. So then at this point, we zoom in a little so you can actually see. So at this point, we pick up our tomatoes and we peel them, much like we did the other process. And then I'm going to put them in a colander over here on the other side of my counter until I get them all peeled. The tomatoes, not the peeling. The peeling's going in the slop. Go in the compost. Alright. And these are like much easier to core, obviously, because they're not frozen. There you go. I mean, look at that. Look how beautifully that peels. The other Campari, just watch. That's amazing. You can do the same thing with the freezer as well. I mean, I like both methods. It just depends on what I've got to work with. You know, I have a lot of fresh tomatoes right now, but you know, I think both are easy. I don't have a preference as to which one. It just really depends on whether or not I'm sick, whether I'm sick, you know, because when I get sick, I can't exactly do a lot. You know, it's pretty much in the bed with a Crohn's flare or an arthritis flare. You know, that's it. I mean, I do minimum of what I have to do daily, which is take care of the animals, you know. And I'm just going to slice them in half. They really don't have much of a core in the first place because they're cherry tomatoes. But they're super sweet, and I think they make a great soup. I'd like to try to make a whole thing of tomato soup with cherry tomatoes. That'd be great. I'm going to chop you. Yes, what's on my board is the herbs that got spilled while I was grinding, so it kind of works out really cool. And when you're chopping on top of that, then it sticks to your product and you get all that. Alright, let me wash my hands. Herbs, this one last grind. Where is my mortar? There we go. Or is this the pesto? I don't remember. Anyway. So there's our herbs all ground up. Half we grew, and half came from this help stove. So now we're going to take our herbs, our 2 kinds of basil, and a tiny bit of salt, and we're going to sprinkle that in to our slow cooker. I'm take my finger and rake out all the goodness, and then I'm going to give it a stir. Next, so we've got our herbs, we've got our 2 different kinds of basil, the sweet Italian basil, organic grown at our herb garden, and then we have the Tulsi or holy basil, organic, which we did half and half, and we have onion, garlic, and celery sauteed in a pan and in the mixture with the tomatoes. So that's what we've added so far. Now we're going to add just our last few ingredients. One is a bay leaf. Bay leaf in a soup is always called for. I don't care what kind of soup or stew you make, always throw a bay leaf in. They're great. Great flavor. I love them. And so, and even if they're chopped up, Lord, keep using them. They're high dollar. So we're going to get a bay leaf out. And there's our 1 bay leaf. Lovely dry bay leaf. I need a bay tree so I can grow these. My goal is to one day make an entire dish that was all raised right here. The herb, well, obviously not the salt, because I can't like raise salt. But okay, all of the ingredients, the veg and the meat, the milk, you know, because this will have cream in it. So anyway, that's one of my goals. So here is our bay leaf, and we'll just pop that bay leaf down in there. Now, we have added a very small amount of salt and a very small amount of pepper when we were sauteing. Lord, I about threw my salt. So now we are going to add a teaspoon of salt. I'm pretty sure, yep, this is a teaspoon measure. I'm going to add a teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon. One teaspoon of salt. I tell you, I'm a salty person, and I really like salt. I could like I could eat it. I mean, you know, with being short gut and only having 6 feet of intestine, I have no large intestine, only small intestine, 6 feet. you get dehydrated really easy. So they tell you to increase your salt intake, and I was like, all right. So I did. I love it. So then I'm gonna measure this. I usually don't measure pepper because I add so. Look at this. My spoon won't go in. What use is this? Okay, so let's pour it. But in this case, I'm gonna measure pepper because I'm trying. I liked the flavor of the squash I fried the other night, and I used a little more pepper than I normally do, and I enjoyed it. So I could taste it, but it didn't burn me. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I'm very sensitive to spice. So then let's give it another stir. Now, a lot of people don't want to add sugar, and that's fine. You don't have to. You can omit this. Sometimes I add it, sometimes I don't. Because the tomatoes that I'm using are really sweet, so I don't know that I need it, but I have this fear that if I don't add just a tablespoon, or maybe a quarter of a cup, then I'm going to regret it. So, let's get our tablespoon. And this is organic sugar cane, organic sugar cane, non-GMO. So there's 1 tablespoon. 2 tablespoons. Which I believe 2 tablespoons is a quarter of a cup. I do believe. Don't hold me to that. But yeah. I think it is. Alright then, and that is how you make homemade tomato soup. We're gonna keep this in the crock pot for about 2 to 3 hours. And then at that time, I will turn it off. And I will let it cool a little bit. And then I'll put it in my blender. And, you know, whiz it up a bit. Because I like a little bit of a chunk to my tomato soup. But I don't want like big chunks. So I'm going to whiz it up, as I call it, in my Ninja blender. And we'll be back for that in, let's see, it's 3:44. 5:44. We'll see you at 5:45 Eastern Standard Time here in Western North Carolina, and we'll show you the end product and taste. We'll see you in a bit. Welcome back. While we wait on our tomato soup to finish cooking, we thought we'd go down to the garden and check it out before it rains. Usually try to check the garden, you know, for harvest every evening. I don't ever get up early enough. I'm not a morning person, so you know I do it in the evening. So here we go. Hey baby.
Hey baby.
What's up? Herb garden.
Yep.
I harvested a little bit of dill today right there and gave some to the rabbits.
Gotta get strong. Look at that pumpkin.
Ooh, pumpkin. Let's check it out. Oh man, it's almost done. Check it. Big old jack-o'-lantern. And we got another little one somewhere close. There it is, and it's still green. And then we got this guy that has some kind of moth on it. Are you what lays eggs?
Could be.
Are you what lays eggs? There it is. Because you get these slimy eggs. This one almost looks done, Chris.
Probably is.
It's vine. Oh, spiky. Its vine is not shrivelly, but look, it feels hollow and done. Well, they are hollow. Hello. Oh goodness, he's over there eating borage.
Yeah, I am.
You borage eater.
I admit, I got a problem. I love it.
It's got a borage problem.
And borage addiction.
See, it's like I said when we were making the soup, and actually put some celery in it, and I said if my lovage was bigger, I would use lovage. Well, there it is. That's how big it is. And I don't want to mess with it because this is its first year. Not enough to season a whole pot of soup.
I need to put that other one in.
There it is. Yeah, we do need to plant the other lovage plant. And there is the sage where I harvested sage, and you saw me hang it up the other day. Yeah, I know. Oh man, he's big and green.
Big quick, didn't he?
Man, he was tiny the other day. Oh wow, see look, there's the other one. Man, I'm doing a bad film job.
Marigold's going.
The giant marigold? Yeah, I know, it's finally starting. It's got one, it's got major buds. And there's the chamomile, the non-German.
Yeah.
And you can tell I harvested the German the other day when I was hanging up herbs.
Let me eat it.
Let's go check the volunteer Camparis. Oh, and that's how the collards are coming up now. Uh-oh, I'm about to drop it. There's the collards. They're coming up pretty good. I gave the rabbits a few bites. I need to spray it with the P5 because we're getting bug damage. Or the plant's getting stronger because the outer leaves look healthy. And here is the Campari plant. The Campari volunteer. I think I'm going to leave all those guys because none of them are red yet. See how big? This is actually 2 tomato plants. Some more borage.
Tomatoes are going crazy.
Yep. And there's a couple that got scalded after I pruned it. And there is what is of the tender greens or the mustard spinach.
Look at that weird old...
I know, that's the one I held up the other day and talked about the eggs. And there's the bell peppers. They're still putting out a few. I gotta check this zucchini because I got about 3 that I know of coming.
There's a tiny one, but I think this one can go.
Yeah, that's be
time.
careful. Make sure you get the end.
Oh, you want to do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I've learned a trick. Because I don't want to break this stem end. Because then bacteria can get in it when you store it before you cook it or process it. Uh-oh, I did it anyway. That is what I was not trying to do. I was trying not to do. Yeah, that's a good size. See, and there's another one right there. Well, I took half the vine with that one. We've got 5. Trying to have a potager garden one day, and there's my marigolds. See the giant marigold? It's finally gonna bloom. All right, we gotta pick some huskies.
This cucumber's struggling.
Is it still trying to push through?
Look.
Oh wow, it's a cucumber. That's weird. All right, I'm not gonna pick all these. I picked a bunch yesterday. Just gonna pick like the reddest ones. That one looks pretty red. There's a red one right there. All right, so that's harvest so far. Oh, step over the zucchini and around the squash. Yes, this is our yellow crooked necks. And we're setting blossoms. See, there is the blossoms. There, which one's the male and the female?
Males will come first.
Okay, well that's your yellow flowers. That's the males, and then these little babies down here will be more of that. And here's some kind of seed. Oh look, it's already set a squash.
I bet it does.
It's tiny, look at it. Do you see the baby squash?
See, I'm looking at this right now.
Look.
Our strawberries are starting to stretch.
The legging again?
Still legging.
Well, it's time for them to. Look at that tiny squash. I've got one squash. Thank you, Jesus. Oh, look, there's another one setting. Two tiny squashes. Wah, Sorry, Sesame Street. And there it is, the giant, huge marigold that's actually gonna bloom. You got any peppers on this guy? Oh, what do you think, Chris? It's a very fat, sweet pepper. Let it go.
I don't know about that.
It's awful fat. I don't know if it'll.
Well, your call.
I don't know if it'll grow anymore. Like
Is that the
long.
cucumber?
No, that's down there. This is the sweet bananas.
Oh, I don't know.
See, it's a weird banana. But anyway. Oh look, Chris, you knocked down my marigolds.
I'd knock it down.
Well, I'm holding up a pepper plant.
Forage.
Oh, shush. Alright, what about these guys? I'm gonna take these. I know they're not totally red, but these guys tend to split. They tend to split terribly, terribly bad. And I think this is a Campari Volunteer as well. I think those will redden on up. They're just small. Cause see, right here is the same plant. I've got a Roma plant and a Volunteer Campari plant on one cage because it was on the ground and I had to get it off the ground. It's not produced as much as the one that I just left on the ground. But anyway, let's see. Well, these don't split, so I'm going to leave that one. Alright. How are the little stripes today? The little stripes. A lot of green little stripes. I need to prune this back again so the light will go down through and ripen all these tomatoes. But, so, I mean, dude, it's almost September. It's time for these suckers to quit. Here's a couple. These split, so I do pull them a little early, especially when I know it's gonna rain today. Well, it's already rained like twice. See, this one split. And it's because I did not pull it yesterday. I considered it. I thought about it, but I didn't do it. So there it is. There's one that split so bad it got bug damage and I couldn't save. So let's see if we get a volunteer. Gonna take this one because it looks like it might have little. No, I think that's just water spots. Okay. Let's see. Now then. Chris is still eating borage.
Chamomile and borage.
Oh, chamomile and borage.
Yeah.
And there's a big old marigold. This is not the big marigold plant though. Some kind of varmint in it. Oh. Nice little marigolds. Nice blueberry bush with lots of new growth. Hopefully next year even more blueberries. That's valerian.
Yeah.
And that is yarrow.
Yeah.
And up there's feverfew. Okay, so I got that backwards. Yarrow. Yarrow like a fern. Lot like a fern. And valerian has that shaped leaf. These are baby plants. We just put them in this year. That one's struggling. That one disappeared. And there's another one. Now, I do believe it is time to stake these sugar snap peas up. What do you think?
Pretty close.
And the giant dill going to seed. Where are you at, feverfew? And there is the feverfew. Yes, yes, yes. More.
Lone few.
The lone feverfew. And we lost our apple on the Anna apple. The one and only apple. It was all worm ridden. So Chris pulled it and ditched it.
Probably wasps.
Oh, it might have been. I didn't see it, so. See if any of these sunflowers. Oh, this one's broke. So it is probably never going to go to seed. Nope.
Definitely now I'm not going to go through.
Well, I know it was broke. I didn't break it. It was broke. All right, these look like they're done. So let's chop them off. I have no idea what you're seeing. Ow, this one's broke too. Weird. Must have been a bird. Nope. Alright. Well, that is the sunflowers then for today, and we ain't got many left. So, that's what's going on in the garden today. There you go. That's a garden tour for today and harvest. Here's our harvest today. Didn't get a lot because I harvested a lot of tomatoes yesterday. Alright. Chris is talking to me. Let's go see what he needs. I noticed it was huge.
Our huge lamb quarters finally going to seed.
Yay! We get to collect seed. Well, not right now, but I gotta show you all the volunteer corn too. This is the biggest lamb's ear.
Lamb's quarter.
Lamb's quarter in the world. Look, it's a tree. It is a dang tree. Look at that.
And all the little seeds. We're finally gonna get some seeds.
Yay! I actually like the way lamb's quarter tastes. It's very mild.
It's like spinach. Little water spots on it.
Yeah. It's really mild. Milder than spinach. And I really like it.
Animal, where you at?
Oh, Annie's been getting out lately. She's following me, so Chris is... There she is.
This weirdo...
So anyway... Yeah, but they just open up...
By the way, the hibiscus is blooming white.
Ooh, weird. I didn't even know it was blooming. I'm glad you saw that. I've been over there, but I was faced the other direction.
I meant to show you yesterday.
Alright, let's go see the hibiscus bloom. It's supposed to be pink.
Well, you got lied too.
Well, the one next that it was next to was pink, so I thought it was from that shed from that tree.
It's getting attacked by wood sorrel.
Rabbits like wood sorrel.
Wood sorrel. Wood sorrel and dandelions.
Look at the beautiful... See, now you know what I immediately want to do? I want to feed them to the rabbits. If I would have known this was here today, I would have already done that. But I think they're beautiful. They've got pink throats instead of purple throats, though. Almost red. Let's look at that closely. Hey, baby.
Hey, baby.
I love you.
I love you too.
Come here.
Sure, lips.
Maple syrup lips. Inside joke. Stay around, you'll learn. Look how gorgeous that is. I just feel very tropical looking at that. It's beautiful. Bunnies will love
Well,
to
the
eat
ones
it.
that I got with the seeds in the car are the big dinner size plants.
Yeah, you told me that.
They're singles, but they're big. So I pulled my plum, it's done broke my branch.
Oh crap, let's see.
It broke my branch down.
Oh my gosh, look at it.
It's broke my branch. I'm picking it.
Pick it.
It's got a little bug damage, but that's okay.
It looks like a peach.
It looks like a peach.
That does not look like a plum. I think you got a peach tree instead
Why
of a
did they
plum
do
tree.
this to me? Why did they do this to me? They give me zucchini instead of yellow squash in the cell packs and sell me the wrong tree. I think it hasn't changed fully yet, and I think it does kind of do this, but that feels like a peach.
I have no idea. I've never grown a plum, and I didn't think plums had a fuzzy flesh. That feels like a peach, but look at the flesh inside. It looks like a peach. What the heck, man? We didn't want peaches. I didn't even think peaches would work out good here.
No, they would. Smells like a peach too.
Does it? Let me smell. It's peach. Darn you, big box.
It's a pleasant surprise.
No, I don't find it pleasant at all. I
Well,
just find it to be... Peaches are good, but it's just a surprise. I don't find it
plums,
pleasant.
y'all. Plums, man. So disappointing.
Something you find out every day.
That's okay. I see how it is. I'm just gonna go.
God didn't want us to have plums. He wanted us to have peaches. But
know.
Okay, so does that mean that one's a peach tree too?
It better be a Santa
Because how did it pollinate without another peach?
You know what? Maybe this is one that maybe this is one that came off their stalk and they grafted onto it. Maybe we got half peach, half plums.
That's a thought.
Maybe their graft was onto a peach
tree.
This is the
Look at
start.
the other fruit. Does it look similar?
Well, it's off of the same branch, so it probably is.
Oh, it is off the same shoot. Where'd it go?
They may have fallen off. There's one right here on the ground. Look.
Oh, son of a biscuit eater. They've fallen off. They're definitely
Yep,
peaches.
it's got ants all in it. Look
Yep.
at them ants going to town. I hope you
Yep.
like my peach.
Seriously.
I hope my peach is good for you.
Yeah, I think all the rest of them's fallen.
It's right there.
Where's the other one?
This jerk.
Where's the other one? Oh, there it is. I didn't even notice that today.
That's so disappointing, y'all.
Oh, son of a biscuit eater. That's a peach, babe.
That's a peach.
That's a freaking peach.
jerk.
All right, well, that's the only one we're going to get because the rest of them have fallen off.
You got it eaten.
But do they have to have another tree to pollinate
I
with?
don't know. I'll have to look into that.
Because, you know, that's a plum tree, so we think.
Supposed to be.
If you look at the leaves, they look exactly the same.
I wasn't getting my redness out of it.
Yeah.
Those jerks.
See, this is supposed to be a Santa Rosa dwarf plum. Is this tag still
That was
on?
supposed to be the methyl.
And this was supposed to be the methyl plum. The tag is long gone. So I don't know, but it's a peach tree, baby.
That's all right. God knows best.
God knows what we need, and evidently we need peaches. Hey, Mama. Look at Ellie and Annie and Mama Zappa. Hello, puppy puppies. Annie Blue, you get your head back in there. No. Bad dog, you stay. She's sticking her head all the way through. Look at this. Look at that bad dog. You get back in the fence.
Get in there, Mala.
Get your head back in there. No, you stay. You stay. You stay. Stay. Hey, it goes. Hey, Ellie. Enoch. Hey, Enoch. Gorgeous boy. Gorgeous boy. Say hey to everybody. Hey, Echoes. Hey, Echoes. Hey. Hey. I only see the top of your head. Hey, Enoch. Hey, buddy. What's up? What's up, buddy? You gorgeous boy. All right, let's go do with your peach, babe.
And
Here, put it in the basket.
so mad.
I'm aggravated too.
I mean, I like peaches, but not like plums.
I know.
Plums.
I never buy peaches. I always buy plums for you.
But
'Cause
like I said, maybe that was the graft. Maybe they grafted onto a peach tree. They can do that.
yeah.
So remember, I told you that the flowers did look different. The two different
Yes,
flowers.
yes,
look
because that's
different.
what we said. You said that to me, and I was like,
Like
well,
the pink flowers and the white flowers, and the pink ones apparently are plum.
or peach,
peaches.
and the white ones
white
are
ones are
plum.
probably plum.
Because half that tree was pink and half
Yeah.
that tree was white.
So we had a tree that blew in both white and pink. And they're beautiful, but it ain't what I wanted. But
But
you know.
so maybe the white blooms were the plum?
Maybe God just didn't want to give us 400 pounds of plums.
Who knows?
And maybe he just wants us to have 200 pounds of plums.
Yeah, that's it. That's
We'll
it.
find out.
He knows best. All right,
knows
let's
best.
check these rabbits out. Hey, Mama. Hey, Mama Gwenna. Hey. She's a sweet bunny. She's a sweet bunny. You had lots of forage today. Mama gave you forage this morning, and then I gave you forage when I opened you up after the rain, and then Daddy gave you some greens. Wow. Supercharged greens. You're gonna poop green. Alright, I love you, Gwenna. She's a good mama. She will get bred again in October. So sorry. Hello, arts and crafts. See, his eyes are doing much better. He's all growing fur back. Yeah, Artie Crafty's a good boy. Artie Crafty, he wants out. All right, come here, let's show everybody your back. But anyway, it's growing back right there. It's growing back right there, see? It's all growing back now, so I don't know what that was about, but I'm still stripping and plucking and doing all that good
Maybe
stuff.
he had mites due to the hay. Could have had mites due to the hay.
Could have been, and then I vitamin E oiled it, and
Yeah, that was the end of
solved
that.
it. Because that's how you get rid of mites. You can use cooking oil. But I have a vitamin E oil I use on the dogs on there, like they get sunburnt noses sometimes or hot spot. Oh goodness. Guinevere and Arthur's babies. As you know, there would have been 5, but we lost 2 in that litter. Common for a first-time mom. But these 3 guys have done great. They're getting big. They're 11 weeks old today. And
that one there is massive.
They're huge. They're 11 weeks. Look how big these 11-week-old rabbits are. They're huge.
And that one there is small.
Yeah, this is the smallest one. Oh, how cute are you? Cute. And then that's the other big, the middle-sized one. We got big guy, medium, and small. Our rabbits come in small, medium, and large.
'Cause I think that one at this point is bigger than Arthur.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
He's like a little ball of meat. What are you talking about?
He's not bigger than Arthur. I've held Arthur and I've held him.
Well, Arthur's filled out. I'm just saying physically, look at it.
Oh, like his length and his height? Well, then yeah, but not as... Look at that baby grooming over there. Come on, run around, do something cute.
Well, we gotta get some collards in for fall time.
Well, I do have collards in. What are you talking about?
Saying.
I need more.
Coal crop, I meant.
We gotta get coal crop in. Hopefully that'll happen this weekend. Shoot, it's gonna be your birthday in like 5 days, 4 days.
A week or so.
No, it's the 23rd.
22nd.
22nd? Okay.
It's a week, 7 days.
Okay, it's a week. In a week, it'll be your birthday, Christopher.
Yeah.
So that is what they look like at 11 weeks. Pretty big bonies. All right, let's go see Quicksilver.
That's the big one. So when are we gonna eat some rabbit?
We need to do that. Maybe we'll do that this weekend too. Oh. Hello, Quicksilver. See, she is not the friendliest. This is the one that's bit me 3 times right after we very first got him. She's calmed down a lot since she had babies. Oh, see how skittish she is? And I was moving in really slow and she still jumped. But at least she has her ears up. She usually will tuck her ears. See, they're shedding too. I need to strip her. Hello, Christopher. See?
If you want, I can pluck at her. You pluck a little harder than I pluck at her.
It's because I'm a plucker. See, she's had enough. So there she is. We'll breed her probably 2nd week in September, 3rd week in September. She's recovered well. She was very, very skinny when it was time to wean her babies. I mean, you know, she was like tiny compared to what she was before she had them. But she's fattened right back up. Her dewlap is back. And she's ready to breed. And we'll be doing that in September, which is, I know, just about a week away. But we'll keep you updated on that. Hello, Guinevere. Quicksilver. They're black. I'm sorry, sometimes I get confused. They're 2 black rabbits. There she is. Alright, we'll let Chris close you down because you're just eating. Alright. So that was a lovely visit to the Rabbitat and harvesting the garden and all that good stuff. So let me see, what time is it? Let's see if it's time to check our soup. It is 5:21. We will be checking our soup in about 15 minutes. About 15 minutes we'll check that soup and we'll be back with you then. See you when the soup's done. Bye-bye. Okay, our soup is done. So now it is time to take it out and blend it up. I'm supposed to let it cool for a little while, but if I only put little bits in at a time, it should be okay. So here it is. This is what it looks like. I'll move out of the way so Chris can get in there. for the most important part, the taste test. Oh my goodness, that is divine. Why have I been buying canned tomato soup? Why? Gosh, that's good. Okay, like I said before, I do like it a little bit chunky. So, I'm gonna put the blended soup in here and then I'll put it back in the crock pot with the blender. So I'm gonna use my little ninja blender. Got this crazy wicked blade that will slice you. Believe me, I've been sliced many a time washing it. So we'll take a ladle of our soup, put it in our blender. I'm only going to do 2 ladles because it is hot. Go ahead and turn that off. Put our lid on. Give it a few uses. And then pour it into our other pot so we can continue blending. It's going to be a thicker tomato soup. I like tomato chunks. There's a store brand that I buy because it has chunks in it. Well, it's a not like store brand. It's made by Progressive. And it's like the best canned tomato soup you can get. It has chunks and I really enjoy it. So then, if I can get it back in. Whoa! There we go. Now we'll continue doing this until it's all blended. So I use an immersion blender. I used to have an immersion blender till one day I decided I was gonna use it to try to whip up some cream cheese that was not softened, and it gummed it up.
Well, I destroyed one too. I was making some jow with it.
Oh, did you, Jow? Yeah, muscle rub. Chinese medicine.
Which I wish I had, but I don't.
Yeah, I know. We need to order a kit and do a video.
Yeah. Let's see.
So I thought while we were waiting for our soup to come up to temperature so we can add the cream, I thought since I had so many cherry tomatoes, I'd go ahead and show you how to lacto ferment tomatoes. I did a little jar, and you probably saw pictures of it. I took pictures with my cherry tomatoes, and that's it. And it's like a quarter of a jar left. I'll grab it. I'll be in the kitchen and be thinking, man, I'm kind of hungry. And so I'll grab my jar and stand at the fridge and eat tomatoes. So good. So good. So I'm going to make a big jar this time. And I'm going to add a few more herbs because that is just tomato basil. I looked up a recipe and I'll share the link to this recipe with you. So you can find it, and this one calls for it doesn't even call for basil. I'm just adding basil. I make recipes my own. Calls for dill. And this is some of the dill that I harvested the other day, and you saw me hang, but I went ahead and took it down. It smells so good. My kitchen smells like dill. And then this is some of the sweet basil that I harvested the other day and hung to dry. We're going to go ahead and use that, along with some of the dry that I've got there, and maybe some holy basil. Peppercorns, garlic clove, and I might throw a caraway seed in it for fun. I don't have any mustard seeds. If I had mustard, I would put mustard in it, but I don't. So let's just go with this and see how it turns out. The first step that we're going to do is we're going to take a cup of water, 250 milliliters, and I just put it in a mason jar. It's room temperature water, non-chlorinated, non-fluorinated. Where I live, I am on city water, so I bought water at Walmart. Just drinking water, plain old drinking water. Has no chlorine in it. So that's what this is in this jar. No chlorinated water for this recipe because it will mess up your ferment. Okay, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take 2 teaspoons of salt. 1, 2, non-iodized salt, also important. It'll mess up your ferment. You can use pink Himalayan salt, kosher salt, Celtic gray salt, just as long as it does not have iodine in it. Okay? So there's our salt and our water for our brine mixture. I may have to make more because I think they're just making a pint. And I'm going to make a quart, so I'll mix up more. Hang on, I forgot my skewer. And you just stir this till it dissolves and set it aside while you prepare your tomatoes and your herbs. Does that look pretty dissolved? It's pretty color. Look how pink and pretty it is. So pretty. Pink is my favorite. Alright, so we'll leave that there for now. Now I gotta find my skewer. I don't think it'll work. Chopstick, chopstick, chopstick. Alright, so here are my cherry tomatoes here in my little bowl, or my colander, whatever you want to call it. And, okay, so we're gonna take our cherry tomatoes, and I'm just gonna take this skewer. Well, it's not a skewer, it's a chopstick. And I'm gonna just pierce the middle, just like right where it comes off the plate. So, but I'm gonna do that over the plate because I don't really want to squirt juice everywhere. And then I just repeat this till I have a jar full, but I'm gonna get a bunch poked first. Let's bring y'all in a little closer so you can see what's going on. Alright. So see, I just poked it through, and that's so it will, fermentation process will happen. And now that we got a couple poked, I'm going to show you the process. So now I'm going to take my dill, and I'm going to put a little sprig of dill in the bottom of my jar. Where is my knife? It's over here at the sink. I washed it. There it is. Alright. So then we're going to take this little sprig of dill, and I'm just going to leave it. I'm just going to scarify it a little bit to let it release some of its flavors. And then I'm going to pick up this dill and drop it in the bottom of my jar. So I'll break up my dill pieces. I thought I had one more sprig over there. Alright, so there's a little bit of dill. Use a little bit of this basil and get the stemage off. Same thing, I'm not going to chop it fine. I'm just going to chop it enough to help release all the yumminess in that basil. Okay, I think, oh, I got a tomato seed there. I think that's enough of that. Let us smash the garlic. Let me peel it right quick. I didn't peel it. I try to get all this stuff that's you don't have to see done first. Let me smash it and peel it. Alright, and then we'll put that in the bottom of the jar. And then, unusual for me, I am not a pepper fan, but I'm going to put a few peppercorns out of the sugar, if I can get them. I'm just going to put 2, because I'm not going to put 3. I'm not a fan of the pepper, but I'm trying to expand my horizons. And there's our peppercorns. So we got our basil, our garlic, our dill, and now, just for fun, because I add this to sauerkraut and I think it makes a wonderful flavor, some caraway seeds, not many. Just gonna drop a couple in the very bottom. Just a couple, not many. Put those guys back in. Now then, now we'll start packing our tomatoes. So we just start dropping them in, drop them in. Just make sure you can see the jar. So there, we've got it that full right now. And then I will continue to poke my tomatoes, make a layer of herbs, and then a layer of tomatoes, layer of herb, layer of tomatoes. So now it's time for a layer of herb. I'll be back when we pour the brine over it. Okay, here is our last tomato in our fermented tomatoes and our last layer of herbs, and we'll pour the brine. I just wanted to show you this tomato before I added it. Look, it was a little double bloom. Little double bloom. How cute is that? I love weird shapes. Okay, so I'll go ahead and poke my hole in this. I just wanted to show you that one before I poked it and stuck it in. Alright, so now we'll do our next layer of herbs. Our last layer of herbs. And I'm going to kind of sprinkle these down so they don't float, and poke them down in the jar as best I can. Let's see if we can get that little tomato wedge under that. Put that in there. Alright. I think that is probably enough dill. I'm going to get the rest of my sweet basil out of my jar where I harvested it. And dried it. And we're going to chop just rough couple pieces up just to let it release its aromatics and oils into the brine. And then there that is. There's the rest of our basil. Sprinkle it all down in there. And then for good measure, I sprinkle a tiny bit of salt on top before I pour my brine mixture. So, I figure I am going to have to make more brine because this is only a cup and I'm doing a quart. So, let's go ahead and pour this. Let me go ahead and put the rest of the water in there. 250 milliliters is 1 cup. There we go, 1 cup. Alright, and I'm going to go ahead and put this in, and then I'll go ahead and put another 2 teaspoons of salt. Nice pink brine. And I added extra salt. I don't know if you're supposed to do that. I just like really salty. So that's what I did. Alright then, so now we pour our brine over. Making sure to cover the fruit, or excuse me, whatever these things called. Tomatoes. Yes, that's what they are. And then you're going to need to take a chopstick or you don't need one of those gadgets. You just want to get air bubbles out because this is an anaerobic process. And so in this case, oxygen is your enemy. That is what will cause you to have mold and various other issues with your ferment. So I'm getting all the air bubbles out I can, and as you can see, the volume of the liquid has went down as I did that. so it's not covering my tomatoes anymore. So I'll have to add more brine after I finish poking my air bubbles. Alright, there we go. Now let's pour the rest of our brine over it until they're covered. That's a garlic skin. It is. And just make sure all those guys are covered. Last time I covered it with olive oil, but this time I'm going to try using my little herb smasher. I'm going to fill it with my brine and see if I can get this to sink down in here like a weight. See what I'm saying there? I don't know if my lid's going to go on like that. It's kind of full, but we'll see. Because I think that will keep my tomatoes down in. Yeah, I'm going to have to scoop out some of the brine and get it in my weight. There we go. Now I've got some brine in my little makeshift weight, and if you look, the tomatoes are completely submerged. Some of my herbs are sticking up. But I'll fix that in a minute. But that is completely submerged. So that is going to have to work for my weight. And I'm just going to poke everything back down in. Just make sure we have no more bubbles one more time. It's a very important step in this process because you'll get mold and it'll ruin your ferment. Alright, so I am believing that everything is now submerged and my little weight has water, it has the brine in it. So let's get us a ring and a lid. Here we go. Now I'm going to put this lid on, and I'm not going to put it on tight. I'm just going to put it on kind of loosely, see, to where a little bit can escape, and I'll put this in a bowl to where if anything does run out, it will be caught in a bowl. So there it is. There's my fermented tomatoes. They'll sit on the counter for 2 to 4 days, depending on taste, and then into the fridge forever, I guess. So there are my fermented tomatoes. Now let's cream our soup. I do have heavy whipping cream, but I don't want to dig for it. Alright. There's our soup. Beautiful and all whizzed up. Beautiful. Let's measure us a cup of half and half, or a half a cup rather. Start out with a half a cup. Which is 150 mils. And then we slowly pour it in, because remember this is hot and you don't want it to curdle. It's not boiling because it's in a slow cooker, but you definitely want to do this slowly. And there you go. Cream of tomato basil soup. All from scratch, mostly from our homestead. So there you go. And now I'll turn it down on low and let it sit there till after I feed the puppies. And then we'll have tomato soup and grilled cheese for supper. Alright, on low. Woohoo! What a productive day. Well, that's it. We have made our cream of tomato basil soup. We've been down to the garden and had a harvest. We visited rabbits. And we had a bonus, fermented tomatoes. That was not in my plan. I planned to blanch those and use them in my soup. But, you know, I needed to preserve them, and so why not bring you along for the journey of my first time making tomato soup and my second time fermenting tomatoes. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. May God bless you richly. And I'll see you here next time at the Black Pack Homestead. Bye-bye.